back to Command West, the Commanders podcast, where we tackle the latest Washington football team news and answer the hard-hitting questions like, would we have won this football game if the Eagles were playing football and not rugby? My name's Bradley Roach.
I'm Donnie Roach.
And I'm Tico Wells.
And I'm Eddie Pass.
Eddie Pass.
And we will talk about that and a lot more tonight's episode of Command West.
All right, let's get into it, man. Let's get into it, guys.
Let's get into it. I think, Bradley, you got to start by explaining what you mean by that, playing football instead of rugby.
I mean,
maybe our audience doesn't.
I mean, if you watch the game on Sunday, the Eagles love to do this play on fourth down or on any short yardage down.
Yeah.
Where they just get behind the quarterback and they just push him.
What do you call that play?
What's funny is I was talking about this week and I was like, that play is undefendable. It's undefendable. Yeah. Get it out. Ban it. Ban it. But they failed it against us. They failed it against us
because they had an offsides. They had
offsides.
And which is a little weird because when you look at that, it looked to me like we were lined up offsides on that play. That was a weird call.
Later in the game, in overtime, they did it on fourth down, and the dude was offsides and they didn't call it. Way offsides.
Yes, you're right. Yeah. That's true. That's true. You're right. But you know, and people call that play the Tush Push, right? Because you're just getting behind the quarterback. And or what's the second? What was the other name?
Brotherly shove.
The brotherly shove. Well, that's appropriate for the city of brotherly love. Here's my thing. I agree with you. I think it should be banned. But while it's not, why aren't more teams using it? You're right. It's undefendable. I say I would put it into our repertoire.
You think it works with every quarterback, Doug? Can that work?
Well, that's what I was about to say, Eddie. It's because Jalen Hurts can deadlift like 400 pounds and squat like 600. It's ridiculous. His thighs are bigger than my face.
But it's the guys behind him that are pushing him over the line.
Yeah, but you can't push like a little lightweight guy across.
Sam Howell's not a little lightweight guy. Sam Howell's got some girth to him.
Yeah.
I think he could do this.
What were you saying, Eddie?
I believe we will pause for this 15-minute silence.
Don't worry, we'll fix all this in post.
The 62-year-old man cannot recall.
And we're going for the leaner, shorter version of the show today.
That's right.
God, where were we?
We were talking
about the Tush Push.
Tush Push.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. And I was saying that I don't know if this works for every single quarterback. So my feeling would be, I know where I was going with it. I was saying, you mean to tell me that every coaching staff hasn't put this to the test on the practice field? There's a reason why they're not doing it. Maybe it work.
Some people are traditionalists. They won't change until every last team.
Do we consider it like
it
something
seems like
that
a pride
seems like cheating? If it seems like something that's cheating, Belichick would have been doing it first.
That's cold, man.
It does kind of seem like a pride thing, though. Like, you know, and we did do something similar with Logan Thomas, who's a big boy.
We did.
And then we tried it again,
and we did it
twice.
We got a penalty. Why did we do it twice? I didn't like that call the second time around either. That bugged me.
We didn't get it the second time, did we?
Nope, we sure didn't.
Yeah,
but
they were like, "Hey, you can only pull."
They're running that play. We told you they might run. Now they're going to do it. Let's stop.
We're running that play that we saw. Like you can only do that one time, unless you try and mix it up the second time.
Right.
And Logan drops back and passes or something. You know, like we can't.
I mean, let Logan pass the ball sometime.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
When's they going to put that in?
Yeah, I mean, did you guys see
against
Derrick
Dallas.
Henry? Do you guys see Derrick Henry where he lines up in the Wildcat and he starts to run and then he throws it?
I know. I've seen that. Have they done that this year?
Yeah, they did it this weekend.
They did. Okay.
Yeah,
man. Looks like Derrick Henry's back. Looks like whatever injuries he's had in the past, he's back.
Okay,
he's running.
I want to ask you a question because I've kind of had
what you want to ask us?
I want to ask you a
question of the day.
But I actually have. I think I have 4. But this is my first one.
Okay.
How does everybody feel about this loss? 2 days later. We record on Tuesday nights. So 2 days after the game, how are we feeling?
I feel okay. I feel okay.
Yeah,
I'm good. I'm okay. I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are your thoughts? What are your takeaways?
I feel so good about this season. It could be because I feel good about myself, but I feel good. We look good. We look solid. We had a rough end of second quarter. The end of the second quarter we fell apart, and we didn't get back on track to the fourth quarter. But I like a lot of what I see.
Mm-hmm.
We've got weapons on offense. We just got to put it together, and he's just got to grow. There's no two ways about it.
Mm-hmm.
You get a pass, in the NFL for like a couple games.
Mm-hmm.
Then once they got tape on you, man, they're like, okay, we're coming for you.
That was a good thing then, Tico, that you said, because after they reviewed the tape, they came back and said, okay, we know how we're going to handle him. And then we changed it up.
Yeah.
And we established some run with Robinson and with Gibson. And there was a lot of stuff where I didn't understand. We kept going off tackle and running into a brick wall. And I don't know why we kept trying. And maybe it was to free up.
Same spot on the right side.
Could have been to free up a pass play that we wanted to do by, making them feel like every time he goes right, he's going for that hole. And they just think that's what he's going to do. So they clog it. I don't know, but it was some really great things that I took away from that game. And I guess the biggest one for me was just, here's a team that pretty much told you're not going to win this game. You're going to go into this game. I think all of us picked them to lose, right?
Not all of us.
Maybe.
Bradley picked them.
And I applaud that, because it could have been the upset. Too. It was so close to that upset.
So close.
So now I feel like we're a team that all of a sudden potentially people are going to start to be a little bit more cautious of.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're going to say, look, they just gave, Philly a run for their money. They should have, they could have lost that game just as easily as we wanted.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I honestly think that after, people after the Bills game, if they watch tape on the Bills game, maybe people who are in, NFL circles that follow one team, they might have not respected the Commanders. But anybody who watched film on that game was like, Commanders hung in there for a long time, and that game should have been way closer than it was. So I think the film that we have been putting out is better than the scores that we've been putting out. So I think that there, a lot of teams, I don't think that in the league that people are like thinking that we're a pushover anymore. At all. I don't think anybody's thinking that. The Bears are going into this night, this Thursday night game, like, we're not going to get our first win on the road against Washington.
Well, and here's my response. It's a good question, Bradley. Last week we posed the question: are all losses created equal? And so we lost 2 weeks in a row. But if you compare the way I felt after last week's game versus the way I felt after this week's game, I'm kind of with Tico. And look, my commandment last week was we had to play mistake-free football, and I thought that was kind of a tall order, and we damn near did it. There's no turnovers, not a ton of penalties. We got sacked 5 times, and the defense got burned a few times. That's where the mistakes happened. But but we put up 31 points against the Super Bowl Eagles there. So
in their own place.
NFC champs.
Yeah,
NFC champs.
NFC champs in Philly.
Sorry.
And the last thing I'll say about it is, we also talk a lot here about resilience, and we talked about it last week. In the first 2 games, it was resilience within the game. You get down early, can you come back and pull off a win? And they did. And last week it was about, okay, can we put that game behind us and turn things around and come back strong?
Yeah.
And while we didn't get the win, I felt like that was a very resilient team, and Sam Howell's performance was certainly nothing short of resilient. So I'm happy about that.
Did you say Brazilian?
I saw Brazilian. I heard Brazilian.
That's when you're resilient with a real thin trim on your lower regions. That's a Brazilians.
I'm gonna just kind of.
You mean? Wait a minute. Is that like a Brazilian wax? What are you talking about, Donnie?
That's the joke he was making.
That was the joke I was going.
Okay,
I thought you meant brilliant and resilient.
Oh, okay. You said Brazilian. And I ran with
resilient. And that, you know what? That's a good common word.
Donnie, I didn't expect that from you,
Yeah.
Donnie. I really didn't.
Resilience is when Sam Howell comes out with a way bigger tush than he had.
Okay, now we're taking this way off left field here.
Okay,
when you guys go high, I go low.
Wait, what did you guys call
you're
that
getting
thing? The
real-
tush push? Or what?
Okay. Here's what I wanted to
I
say
thought it was
about that.
backdoor action.
Here's what I want to say about that, Dad, is, you know, I was thinking about this today, and I was like, wow, you know, it feels good when, you know, I'm thinking about what we got to do to this Bears team to win this game, right? And it feels good to not be like, the Bears have to do blah, 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 whatever.
Oh, right.
To lose this game. Like if Justin Fields doesn't play well, we'll win this game. You know, if Jalen Hurts doesn't have the career game, we'll win this game. I feel like we have to do what we need to do to win games now. We don't have to rely on teams being not as good as they usually are, or bad, or making mistakes. I feel like in this game against the Eagles, we had Emmanuel Forbes needs to, you know, he got burnt, and you know he's gonna. I feel good about that though. Like
he's got some growing up to do. Yeah,
he needed to grow up, and like I love that. You know, like I want to see what this young man like can do. Like I feel good that he got torched. You know, because hopefully he'll rise from the ashes like a phoenix. And next time we see AJ Brown, he's gonna moss him. But like there's like.
Wait a minute, who's going to moss who?
Emmanuel Forbes.
Emmanuel Forbes.
I am so excited.
He's going to Deion Sanderson, you mean?
I am
Sanderize.
so
He's going to Sanderize.
I don't know about y'all, but I am so excited to play the Eagles again. Like I am pumped for that game. Like,
but here's something.
Why am I not that excited about it? I got away with one, and we lost, but we still kind of got away with one.
Yeah, and if we got to put that behind us real quick.
Yeah,
because you know the Bears put up 28 points this week too.
Denver Broncos
against the Broncos, and
not worried about
it. This kid is not a bad quarterback.
No, he's ranked a little higher than Sam is, and I don't know why, being that they haven't won a game yet. But maybe it's from past play and past years of completions and yardage and quarterback rating. But I haven't seen why he would be considered better when you don't have winning.
Is he ranked higher through the first 4 games?
I think he is. I think Howell's like at 20th.
Not overall passing.
But just like a ranking, I saw there was a ranking of quarterbacks, and Sam was like 20th out of.
Yeah, I saw that one too. Well, I don't
but
someone who's not.
Let's go from
football.
The ESPN quarterback ranking. Sam moved up to 11. I think he was 17 last week, wasn't
he? Yeah, for that ranking.
Because he's right under 1,000 yards right now, and that's where the top guys are. The top 10 are all in 1,000 yards passing. So with the highest being Tua Tagovailoa. And people start saying Tunga. They start saying Tunga. Is it Tunga? I like to talk to him one day. How the heck do you say your name?
It's Gunga La Gunga.
Tagovailoa. But anyway, he's the top, and then right in front at number 10 is Patrick Mahomes with 1,006 yards. And so Sam Howell has 961 yards. He's not doing bad.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
He's not doing bad.
Hold on, Tico, because I want to answer my own question here of how I feel about this loss.
I figured you had an answer
because I actually feel the exact opposite than I did last week. Because last week I was super pissed, and then was like, as the week went on, I was like, all right, here, let's think about this. This time I was watching the game. I was like, we played a hell of a game, and that was a hell of a team,
But that is a big difference. Last week we didn't play a hell of a game.
But hold on, I'm pissed today.
It sounds like you're
pissed
turned
today.
around.
I'm angry today. We should have won that game. We should have won that game.
Yeah.
We let one slip. And
we let one slip.
We let
one slip.
And those boys in the locker room, if you listen to their post-game pressers, if you listen to their pressers this week, they are not happy. about. There's no moral victories. There is no, we played good. We played good against the Super Bowl caliber team. No, they wanted to win that game, and we
Even
should
the
have won
losers
that
get
game.
a trophy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
man,
But-
I feel fire right now. I'm excited to play these boys again, and we better beat these Eagles, man. I hate these.
I think it all got turned around. Go ahead, Donnie.
I just want to reply to what Bradley said real quick because you're right. I heard the post game interviews and all, and I think everybody was saying the right things. They want the W. For them, there are no moral victories. That has to be their outlook. I just have a different perspective because I'm looking at it from a fan perspective, and so it's easier for me to go, we played well. I'm not that disappointed about that. Yeah, we let one slip, and here's my concern about let one slip is it's hard to play the Eagles and stay toe to toe the whole game, and we did that, and that's where you want to come away with the victory because will we be able to stay with them toe to toe next time? I like your confidence that we're gonna win the next one, but they're not an easy team to play and stay toe to toe like that.
So with something like that. Go ahead, Tico. I was going to say something. Go ahead.
Where we really slipped up, this is why I thought it started, was we had them down 17-7 in the second quarter. And right before the half, we could not stop them. And that's when they got that controversial
big chunk play
catch that could have been called either way. And they come out of it with 3 points.
Yep.
Now, for them, that was like a little momentum shift right before half.
And then
they come back in third quarter, they score 11 points. We score zip. So from the second quarter to the fourth quarter, we did not score. And really, it was, we scored 10 points in the second quarter. That was a good quarter. But when you got a 10-point lead, and then you let them inch back in, and then you don't score again until it's gotten reversed, and they went ahead.
Yeah.
Now you're playing catch up.
It's a game of momentum.
When we get ahead, we got to stay ahead.
Yeah, we've never been good at that.
Right.
But that's so easy to talk from the armchair.
There was a lot of reasons though, Tico.
AJ, man, let's talk about AJ Brown because he had 175 yards on 9 catches. And his longest was 59.
He was taking advantage of the kid.
He was taking, oh man, that guy got torched.
Yeah.
So what, we couldn't go over and double because we'd lose somebody in the middle that we were afraid, or
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know the answer to that.
Or
why they didn't just switch it up.
I'll tell you the answer to that.
What's that?
It's film.
Yeah.
Our defense, when they run 2 wide receiver sets, Emmanuel Forbes is not on the field.
Yeah.
So the Eagles watch that film and they go, all right, how do we get Emmanuel Forbes on the field? We play 3 wide receiver sets. And then they put AJ Brown on the young boy. It was easy for him. And you know what? You know what's crazy about
what you trying to say? He took him to school?
I'm about to say something. I'm about to say something a little controversial.
Best lesson he could ever get, right?
He didn't lose that hard to it, AJ Brown. There were some plays that he got torched, and one in particular on a really, really well designed play where it's a fake bubble screen to a guy, and AJ Brown goes up and pretends to go and block Emmanuel Forbes and then cuts up the field. And that's the touchdown where he ran around everybody.
Wow, I gotta look at that.
So it was a beautiful play design. And Emmanuel Forbes, the playmaker he is, tried to jump the screen and he got burned. And he's going to learn from that. He's going to learn to not play so aggressive on people that are smarter than him, right? Like, I mean, these coaching staffs, they know this kid is 21, just in the league, is hungry, is a ball hawk. They're gonna go after him with their brains. Yeah. It's not a physical. It's not a. AJ Brown didn't take this kid and throw him in the dirt over and over. Emmanuel Forbes is physical with AJ Brown, and that guy is bigger than him. He was on him. There were multiple mental shit that Emmanuel Forbes got beat on. The second touchdown that AJ Brown did, that's a terrible play. I'm gonna tell you that right now. They scored that touchdown with 1 minute and 40 seconds left and said, Sam Howell, try to beat us. And you know what? We should have. We
almost
should have went
did,
for 2, and we should have won the game right then and there. We had the opportunity. Sam Howell drove down the field and scored a touchdown. We should have won that game because of a dumb, boneheaded decision to score a touchdown on Emmanuel Forbes. Emmanuel Forbes played that right. You have to get a pick there. They run down the field and they kick a field goal with 0 time left. That's how you win that game. They almost let that slip. They should have let that slip. If Terry gets his foot down and doesn't step on a dude's arm, we win this game. I'm telling you that right now, man.
Yeah.
We go for 2, we win this game.
Well, that's great speculation. That's great speculation.
No. Emmanuel Forbes made.
We don't know that. We don't know that. That's
an assumption that they weren't going to go over the top on him, and AJ Brown scored a touchdown.
Let's look at some of the box scores. Okay, and I conjecture, fantasizing. That's cool. We all do it.
That's not fantasizing.
We don't know if they would have made the 2-point conversion. The 2-point conversion is one of the hardest plays in the game, right? It's not like a field goal.
I don't like
that. Stop us though.
But
that's the thing.
But Riverboat Ron is on record last year saying when he's in that situation and he's in somebody else's field, he's going to go for the win, not the tie.
But that's also been the knock on him. He's lost so many 2-point conversions over his career. And got that name.
Either way, he was doomed with his decision, right? We know that. But
if we could have went down the field and scored in overtime, we got the ball first.
Right. Yep.
We didn't do anything in that. We had a terrible series.
Well, that was what the point.
It wasn't a terrible series, though, Tico.
You don't think so?
No, because Terry catches a 25-yard dart. It was a beautiful pass ball. Terry puts his foot down. Unfortunately, there's a dude's arm in the way.
Yeah, and it could have went either way with the call, but you got to live with the call.
I mean, I still think that call's inbounds, but like Eddie said, you got to live with that call. And you know what?
But okay, so that's one play. That's one play.
Expressway punts a 35-yard punt.
Yeah. And so that's what I'm saying. It wasn't a great series. We didn't get that call on Terry.
Nope.
We got a terrible punt.
Yep.
And what did we do on the other 2 downs?
And then we played bad, stupid defense on a play where they're out of field goal range and we play 15 yards off the ball and they throw 9 yards, we tackle them, they're in field goal range.
Boom.
Right.
What?
So it's there's so many ifs, but let's just look at some of the positives like we did last week. The thing about Sam Howell, similar to last week, is that Josh Allen didn't outplay him so dramatically. One stat that stood out to me was that Sam Howell rushed for 40 yards on 6 carries. Okay. And Jalen Hurts rushed 9 times for 34. So he rushed more than Jalen Hurts. I would have never thought that.
I would like to talk about that stat, Tico.
Go for it.
Because when we talked about last week, was a spy.
Yeah.
We said Josh Allen torched us on 3 carries, right? Getting out of the pocket. Did you guys notice this week that when Jalen Hurts tried to do that, Benjamin St. Juste was in the middle of the field or somebody was in the middle of the field ready to corral him? Did you guys notice that this week?
I didn't. I was kind of looking for it too, and that's why I wanted to go back and watch again because
Jalen's so scary. Jalen Hurts is so scary, man. And he's so poised.
But like you said, Tico, 9 carries for 38 yards. There was one scramble that he beat us on.
Yeah,
it was like a 15-yard.
That was a 24-yarder.
So the other 8 carries were for a total of what? What's in my math? 12 yards.
3.8 yards per carry.
That's really good. That's really
he didn't kill us. Matter of fact, they didn't kill us. We killed ourselves in that third quarter where we did not score. We're not good enough yet to just try to play catch up all the time and against a team like that. But just like Colorado, we came back, tied the game up. Colorado only lost by 7. We lost by 3. And they weren't moral victories, but I would say we didn't get our ass kicked.
What you can say is, yes, please, Eddie.
Yeah, go ahead, Eddie.
No one's letting me talk at all.
Jersey Mike.
Color commentating from it. Now, this is the observation that I made, and maybe I'm wrong, but I just
Maybe
looked
you're
at
right.
the way we played the second half was crap. So I know we did great when we came back because we had to, but like you said, Tico, we got into position where we in the third quarter where we just did absolutely nothing. But one of the things that I thought when we made the decision to kick the field goal to tie the game, that was the safe play. But I didn't like
Extra point.
the extra point. I didn't like our chances of going head to head with a top offense and having to stop them, in overtime. I just didn't think we needed another 10 or 12 minutes to deal with them. We weren't going to beat them. They were better than us. And I feel like they took us.
They scored 10 points in the fourth quarter. We scored 14.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess
So,
my
Eddie-
point is like I wanted them to go for it there just because
Yeah.
the momentum was there.
I
You
certainly
live
thought
with
they
the
would.
decision. You're going to get drilled whether you choose to kick it or if you decide to go. The momentum was on our side. The rally was on our side. The audience was completely silent, which was like deafening.
Yeah.
And then we pussied out. And I hate to say it, but that I don't think we had a chance in overtime, even if we got the kickoff.
Here's the thing, Eddie. Here's what I'll say about that is, we consistently move the ball on the Eagles defense. And I know, Tico, in the third quarter, we didn't do anything, but one caught dropped pass by Jahan Dotson, that's a first down.
Right.
We had a really dumb penalty. There were some things that were like in the third
The
quarter.
whole game felt like that.
That could have, if the chips fell our way instead of the other way. The thing that the Eagles were doing to beat us, because they weren't driving. There was a couple drives where they drove down our asses. They were not having as much success driving the ball. They were succeeding on
chunk plays
that we couldn't stop. So I see both sides. One is they weren't stopping us on that last drive. I think that we make that 2-point conversion, to your point, Eddie. To Tico's point, we were driving on them and they weren't having success without chunk plays. So if we get the ball in overtime first, we drive on them and we can win that game. And to my point, I think we do. If Terry, gets his foot down, I think we win that game.
Well, his foot was down. It was just on an arm.
Agreed.
Or another guy's leg or whatever it was.
And you could say that's bad officiating. I think he was in. There was a slice of green. The tip of his toe is burgundy. So, to the naked eye, it's a really tough call.
Well, let me say this. Had they called it inbounds on the field, they didn't have enough to reverse it. They didn't have enough to reverse it either way. They had to go with how it was called on the field. And so
we were in Philly. And what kind of call do you think you're going to get?
Now here's the thing that bugs me about the 2-point play. Not even during the game. Did you hear Ron's excuse after the game in his presser?
I'm so sick of listening to fucking Ron.
He put his foot in his mouth again. Like even if his so what he said was they asked him why he didn't go for the 2 points, and he said the guys were gassed. They just drove all the way down the field. It was an incredible drive, and they were gassed. I didn't know if we could do it. Like, even if that's his reasoning as a head coach, if that's what goes on in his mind, don't say that in a presser. Yeah. That's just shows such a lack of faith in your offense. I got to think, if I'm the offensive team, I'm like, put me out there, coach. Let us give it a shot.
But it's also he's not even telling the truth, because then the question was asked, oh, if you had a timeout, would that have changed your answer? And he said no. So if he had a timeout and he used it and let his team breathe, he still wouldn't have done it. So Ron, shut up, dude. You made a bad call. It's okay. Or not even a bad call. I'm okay with the call. I really am. I still think that we would have won. But if you have faith in your team to go beat their ass in overtime, say that. I had faith in my team to beat them in
a much better answer. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because
we had momentum on our side, and I thought we could. Yeah.
And also, if they were too tired then, and we won the towing cost, we get the ball. How much rest did they get?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? Let's
Let's-
good teams find a way to win.
Yep, agreed.
Yep. That's true. Okay.
We're
All right.
we're an okay team right now.
Yeah. I think we're a good
Our
team.
record shows it. We're 2 and 2.
2-2.
We're not a
we're
good
right there.
team. We're not
No,
a
I
bad
think-
team.
I think
We're
we're a
an
good
okay
team,
team.
and the Eagles are a great team.
Yeah, and we showed that
We can play at their level.
we can play with them.
That's right.
You know, and to me, they're as good as Buffalo.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think Buffalo's a little bit better, but
So we learned something from Buffalo, maybe.
Yeah.
But we've got to take care of these next few games.
Well, that brings me to what I
yeah.
was going to bring up about. Are you ready to talk Chicago?
sure.
Well,
Just for
Okay.
a quick thing.
yeah.
sure.
I'm just thinking
Yep.
that there's always that complacency thing, where you
Yeah.
feel like, oh, this is the team that we should waltz all over.
Uh-huh.
Like, how do you think the coaching staff is talking to them right now about the short window of time? They got a couple of days to get ready. There are a lot of people banged up. We're going to start to see the depth, right? We're going to start to see what kind of depth we have, because some guys might be still feeling the aches and pains and like,
Mhm.
hey, let's put so and so out there. This is against
Mhm.
the teams. They're an 0-14. This is a good time to see who. Like, are we going to be experimenting, or are we just going to go in there and kick fucking ass and beat the shit out of them and be one of those teams that say, "Holy God, they beat them 70-12."
It's a
why
really
can't we be that team?
it's a really
I
good
know.
question,
I
Eddie,
know,
because
Eddie.
we should go in there and kick their ass. And I had the same thought. I was like, sometimes you have the concern after a big win that, oh God, these guys are going to think they can beat anybody, and here comes Chicago, and we got this team handled. And I thought, could we actually be cursed by that same kind of thinking after a loss? I would hate for them to think, look, we went toe to toe with the Eagles, and now we just got the Bears. We're gonna whoop them. I don't think that's what's going on, but you asked the question, what is the coaching staff saying? And I think
Yeah.
what they are saying, what they should be saying, and what they are saying is, don't take this team for granted. Don't take any team for granted. We look what happened with us last year. We damn near lost to Chicago on the last play of the game. It had somebody, had they caught that ball in bounds. So
We're a different team than we were last year, though.
we are a different team, but
Yeah, and at the same time, Chicago was like us last year,
hmm
struggling,
Rebuilding.
almost rebuilding. We're rebuilding. We can't take anybody for granted.
No.
Ever. We're not there yet.
I hope they
Matter of
get
fact,
that across.
you're never there. You can never take anybody for
No.
granted.
No, agreed.
We've got to get on their necks from the jump street, because I'm telling you, Justin Fields is ready to win.
Yeah.
He is ready to win, and he played a great game the other day. He played a great game.
Who did they play? I don't even remember.
They played the
Broncos.
Broncos.
Denver, yeah.
You know.
So I want to speak on that, Tico, because I think that as much as Justin Fields is ready to win, which I don't feel as strongly about that as you do, because I think that he looks depressed. He looks sad. He looks sad right now. But
Who Justin Fields?
Justin Fields.
He looks unhappy.
Hey man, that was a tough loss.
Oh, I would be there as well. But
Tough
as much
loss.
as Justin Fields wants to win, I mean, our boys just took one of
You
the
got it.
hardest losses.
Yeah.
I've never seen Terry like that. Sam is a composed dude, but he felt that one.
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan Allen talking about that game afterward. Those boys knew they let one slip. Emmanuel Forbes, he was hot on the sideline.
I didn't see Emmanuel.
No, that they are hungry, man. They just dropped
Good.
two Super Bowl contending teams that they borderline hung with. I know the Bills game got out of hand, but they more than hung with the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
I think that these boys are ready to eat, and they're ready to eat good, and they
better be. They better
hungry.
be.
They better be hungry. That's what I'm saying, Tico. I think they are, but they better be.
What's
You're
the
right. They
They
Chicago?
better be. You're absolutely
What's
right.
the O line of Chicago like?
Yeah.
Not
yeah.
good. But I actually do want to say something, Eddie, because you brought this up. The injury report looking pretty good. The injury report looking pretty clean.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
we
true.
had 2
Point.
DMPs yesterday. Everybody practiced today.
Don't
Yeah.
talk injury.
Good.
I'm putting fists on wood right now.
I was wondering what you were doing.
I'm
You're
putting
knocking
fists
wood.
on
Okay.
wood because our shit looking clean right now. So, although it is a
And
short
just
turnaround,
explain, just for our audience, DNP
DNP did not
practice. Okay.
Limited
So-
means that they're trending.
So we had
towards
2
playing.
players that didn't practice
Yes.
yesterday.
And I think it was Curtis Samuel and Jahan Dotson.
I thought it was
Johnson.
damn
Yeah,
nice
that was
play.
questionable. They were questionable.
Yeah.
Today. So they did practice, huh?
They did practice, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's good. That's good for the good guys. That's
But
Yeah.
they're
looking
still
good for
on
the
they're
good
still on a questionable status
Yes.
for Sunday.
Yeah. No, Thursday. That's the other
I
problem.
mean,
they only have till Thursday.
guys.
Yeah.
But that's kind of feel
Thursday.
good that we have 2 days till football.
I know,
I
right?
know,
Right.
man. I know. We gotta figure.
And that ought to keep that fire lit, right? These guys are ready to go win one. You got to think and you got to hope.
So
Can-
before
can-
we move on to commanding attention, Tico, did you want to add
Yeah,
something?
and I think
Okay.
I just want to say that we won the run game. You guys wanted more running.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you feel satisfied?
I
'Cause
think
we
Eric
got
Bieniemy
100
called
we-
it a really good game.
We got
I-
107 yards running. They got 104. I thought they were going to run more than they did.
Yeah.
And
we
they
stopped their
only
run
led
game.
us by 19 yards in passing.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
the stats are
Even.
reflective of the score.
Yeah, and do you have time of possession there? We beat them in time of possession. Now it's some of that's because they had some big chunk plays. I know,
Yeah.
but if I had it up there earlier.
I think Eric Bieniemy called a great game. I also think that this is a top 5, 6, 7 defense, a top, probably the best O-line in the league, not named the 49ers. This is a top, probably top 5, top 8, top 10 wide receiver,
Mhm.
and then another top 15 wide receiver, like probably the 3rd, 4th, 5th best quarterback in the league. Like this is a team that is phenomenal. Like watching that game, I was like, Eagles are really good. Like
Yeah,
they are
they're-
really good.
They're built to go back to the
Line is
Super Bowl.
Good. Their O-line is great. They're, this is a good team that we hung with for 4 quarters.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that leads me to one of my most important questions.
Oh, I have another question.
Yeah, I told you I had 4 of them to ask.
I know.
I asked one. This is my
Okay.
second one. I know that I'm a different generation. And I wonder if this is a generational thing, because when I've talked to my dad, and I've mentioned this and just kind of niblets because I didn't want to say the whole thing and get him upset with me. But I was like, I hate the Eagles. I hate them a lot. I hate them more than the Dallas Cowboys, and I'll say it. And I was going to ask, what do you guys think? Because at this point, I feel like the Eagles are our biggest rivals. Because I don't like a single Eagle, and I don't like a single Cowboy, but I have it. And I know, Tico, I know you're like, don't use that H word so much, but I hate the Eagles, man.
But you got to give us some reasoning. What's the main hatred coming from?
I mean, they're good for one.
Oh, so you're a little jealous of the skill level.
I'm firmly jealous.
Maybe that might
Yeah.
be it. That might be a better word.
Maybe
Well,
maybe
Jealousy
it's
is a
firmly
bad
jealous,
thing
but
as well.
but also the Cowboys, when you guys were growing up, were the team, were the other team.
Yeah.
It
The
wasn't
team that we were fighting for
Yeah.
for the NFC East year after year.
But it's always been the teams in your division.
Yeah.
See, Bradley, back in the 70s, there was this thing. It was like the game of the week on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When
America's
everybody
game
had
of the
4 or
week.
5. Yeah, and so there was this one time when the announcer says, and the title of this little, they were like little mini documentaries,
Mhm.
and
yeah.
and it said America's team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Ugh.
Sure,
was-
didn't say
it was
God's
not-
team. I thought it was God's team.
No,
but-
it's America's
It was
team.
right. So
Ugh.
they put this big thing like Captain America letters, fonts on there,
yeah.
and that stuck with them. And they liked it. Dallas fans liked it. Everybody else hated it, but it came from one of those game of the week type things, and I think we really hated that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I would hate
But-
that.
But Philly, and the Giants have been no less rivals.
No, agree.
Any given Sunday, they
I'll
can
see,
beat us.
I don't agree with that. I wouldn't say no less rivals. There is no greater rivalry to me than Washington and Dallas.
Yeah. So I have to
It's
agree
just-
with Donnie.
It's just the pinnacle of NFL rivalry. I mean, certainly as a Commanders fan, it is.
I have
um,
to say too, yeah. I mean, I have my roots go all the way back to 10 or 12 years old, watching Washington go up against Dallas with my uncles, and
On
I
Thanksgiving.
had such a seething hatred for Dallas. Started with Roger Staubach.
Hmm.
Couldn't stand the way he scrambled around like a loose friggin' chicken, just running around like no one could ever grab him. Just can't grab the chicken.
Yeah.
And then he'd always throw the ball, and somehow someone would catch it, or Clint Longley would catch it, or
Mm.
and then with Philly, I went to college very close to Philadelphia in Trenton State in New Jersey. So all my roommates in college were either, Philly fans, that nobody was a Washington fan.
Mhm.
So I got into it with them, but I liked the guys because these guys were fun guys.
Mhm.
They were like very similar East Coast kind of guys. The fan base though was disgusting at the game.
Disgusting.
I went to a couple of Washington Philly
Spitting
games.
on people.
Oh yeah, just
Disgusting.
throwing sodas
That's-
at you.
that's
you can't
part of
even
the
wear a
reason.
uniform without somebody kicking you in the ass when you're walking to the bathroom during the
You
game.
know what? I changed my mind, Donna. You're right. Dallas is number one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rival.
I'm so happy I asked this question. I really am. Because I just think that, I think it's I grew up and it was like Dallas was great. Tony Romo, don't get me wrong. Dallas was awesome. I haven't seen them win a Super Bowl. I've seen Philly win a Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I've seen Philly, and I see Nick Sirianni like barking at Emmanuel Forbes, and I'm like, this fucking loser.
I can't stand that shit.
Asshole. Like get off my screen. And like the way he talks to people and his demeanor, like Mike McCarthy's over there like so what a goofball he looks. He looks like a goober. Like I don't hate Matt McCarthy. You know what I mean? Like I hated, a lot of the coaches for Dallas. Who was the one guy that was so annoying during Tony Romo?
Yeah.
And Jerry Jones sucks too, but
Yeah.
The
again,
redhead. What was the redhead?
Jimmy, are you talking Jimmy Johnson? Or are you talking after Jimmy Johnson?
The younger guy, the one who moved.
No, the
over
guy
to announcing
he
now.
took Mike McCarthy's place.
Yeah.
He used to play for the Giants.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now.
Right.
Man, how quickly we
You know
forget.
who I'm talking about. But
Yeah,
like, and like CeeDee Lamb is super annoying, like he's kind of an ass too. But Dak isn't, like he doesn't move the needle for me. But like I could name like Micah. Micah is, but he's so good. It's like, how do you
Mike
hate
is
him?
freaking phenomenal.
He's just an
That's
ass. He's just
the
he's
reason
on
I hate him.
Twitter and he's tweeting at people. He's just so good, But like I can name players on the Eagles who I'm just like, I hate this dude. I hate this.
Well, some of the Dallas hype started with this guy came in one time for Thanksgiving named Clint Longley.
Yeah.
When
Eddie mentioned him earlier.
Danny White was quarterbacking, I think.
And he
Clint
got injured, and we're like, oh, we just won the game. We had the lead at the time. We're going to win this
guy
one.
comes in and just
Who the hell is Clint Longley?
kills us
Like throws
on
these
Thanksgiving
two long
Day.
bombs. Oh my
Bombs
God.
were just like missing.
So, but Philly, man, that Jalen Hurts is probably the best quarterback in our division right now.
Yeah.
But he didn't destroy
But
us.
Dak is good too.
No.
Dak is very good.
Dak is good. The
And
Cowboys scare me
don't
too.
sleep on Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones has been rushing his butt off, man. He's a really good runner.
He made
when
a
he's not fumbling.
stupid throw yesterday, that's for sure. Down by when he was ready to score, but But you know what? It doesn't surprise me, Bradley. I get it. I get it. When you look at you haven't seen the same kind of games that we've seen.
No,
Yeah.
no.
And you've been watching Philly as the number one team in the NFC East really for several years, and they are the ones to beat, and they do have some hateable fans. I'll give you that.
And a hateable head coach.
Yeah.
And so it's easy. It's easy
Yeah.
to dislike them, and probably I would guess the Commander fans that are in their 20s and maybe even 30s, might feel like you do.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to change the minds of some old farts like us,
Super
but
Bowls too.
Yeah.
that's
You've
right.
seen Philly
That's
go
right.
to Super Bowls.
Two.
Yeah.
You've
And
seen
win one.
the Giants go to.
Mhm.
You saw the two
Yeah.
giant football, the Super
Patriots
Bowls.
wins.
And
But
yet,
those
haven't
were-
seen
and
and-
yet there's not the hatred for the Giants that there
Yeah,
is for the
but-
Eagles.
But you know why?
No.
It's because they were playing against the Patriots.
Yeah, well,
The
yeah.
Patriots have been the best team my entire
Yeah,
life.
yeah, it's true. Yeah.
It was almost like you
Oh,
a little bit like
Yeah.
Definitely wanted-
to.
Yeah.
Eli
But see-
Manning was just such a goober. Again, he's like a kind of like an underdog dude
yeah,
against
yeah.
Tom Brady, and he goes up and he wins with this catch and
Twice.
twice, and it's like
Twice.
I have to like
Twice.
love for that.
He can
Why
go
they
to the
hate
Hall of
that
Fame
guy?
on that.
Oh,
You know,
yeah,
really.
and he will.
People have controversy about
Yeah.
him going to the Hall
Well,
of Fame.
But
I'm
now-
really glad I brought that up, and
That's
and
a
it's
good
funny
question.
because you guys brought up my next question. I'll make it quick.
Well, listen. I think we're going to have to get if
I
we're
know.
going to do our
I know.
our 4 commandments.
I know.
We need to get into that so we can let these people go.
Okay.
We're going over
Wait,
45
there's people
minutes
watching
already.
us?
let me ask this real
Definitely.
quick, Tico. It's a yes or no answer. Who thinks Sam Howell is our future?
I do.
I do. I'm in there. I'm all in on Sam Howell right now.
I just wanted to get a sense. The four of us, Eddie.
Eddie's
and-
the one hesitating. That's why I'm
Eddie's
curious.
the one hesitating. What are you thinking?
The only reason I'm saying I'm on the fence is that I haven't seen enough yet. I
Okay.
don't think he's been in the NFL even long enough. Once he gets a full season under him, I'll know how I feel about him. But right now I can't make a decision. I like everything about what I'm seeing,
Yeah.
except for
But that's the eye test.
I'll
Yeah.
ask you at the end of the season. Well,
Yeah.
and you know,
Okay.
I just wanted to get a gauge after this game because I know he had a rough game, Buffalo, and he had a much better game. And I think that this game, honestly, I wasn't worried about him last game, and I said that.
Look,
No.
when in the past several years would we have said with a minute and 40 seconds left on the clock, we got a chance to go tie this thing up and maybe win.
Heineke
overtime.
kind of gave us some of that excitement. He did it a couple times.
He got us in field goal range a few times. I don't know that he ever drove us down the field and got touchdowns at the end.
I think he
like
did. I think he did. I think he won.
Maybe
a
he
couple
did
games.
once.
But
Yeah,
I don't
he
know if he
did.
did it
He actually
against a
did.
team
Yeah.
like
Okay.
the Eagles, though.
Okay.
It was
But,
always like,
but it was always fingers crossed with him.
Yeah.
I don't feel
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that with Sam
Yeah.
Howell.
Yeah.
I feel like his
when
passing
I saw that
stroke is
pass to
good.
Doxson to do it at the end. I mean,
You feel like you got a fighting chance with this kid.
and it
His
was also with
his
Heineke,
skills are better.
It was like we're gonna, it's a fourth quarter win against the Falcons.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, okay, like thanks for the dub, but like you have to make it that close against a team like that. We're like, really?
Yeah.
But we couldn't
Yeah.
even pull it out against Cleveland.
we didn't get any love. We got zero love on this game when it came to reporting, though, because I was trying to listen
No.
to see. No one even gave us like they did like a spot of
I
about
know.
10
I
seconds.
owed
They
it.
go, they
Yeah.
won by 34. Oh, all right, well.
Yeah.
Listen,
you're so
guys,
right,
let's go
Eddie.
into the 4
Okay.
commandments.
Yes,
All right,
sir.
let's look at the next week's game or this
Donnie.
week. We're
Yes, we're going against
Thursday.
the Bears.
We're going against the Bears, and it's a team we should beat. I mean, I'm going to say we have to win the next 3 games. Like,
Yeah.
with 2-2, I'm not that upset. I predicted we'd be 2-2, but now let's win these next 3 games, and it all starts Thursday night. What was my commandment? My commandment is I don't remember.
Thou shalt win the
The turnover. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I said it, we did kind of play mistake-free football, no turnovers. Philly didn't have any turnovers either. We didn't cause any turnovers. I want to see the defense causing. I want to see, we dropped at least 1 pick in Sunday's game, maybe even 2. I didn't see any forced fumbles. That kind of stuff needs to start happening so that we win the turnover
Yeah.
got it.
game. So yeah,
Agreed.
that's my thou shalt win the turnover
Yeah.
battle.
battle.
We-
Thank you.
We brought in this
Oh.
rookie in this first round to pick, to get picks. That's the
Yes,
main reason
exactly.
we got him.
Exactly.
And it hasn't happened yet.
And it hasn't happened yet. Now, the other thing I'll say, and this is not a commandment, but I'm not going to let this whole podcast go by because we kind of skipped commanding attention. My Maryland Terrapins are 5-0. And I just need to say that because it'll probably be the last week we're undefeated because we're playing Ohio State. But our friends back east, we're Command West, but we got people back east, and
Yeah,
I got friends who went to Maryland as well. So Terrapins being 5-0 with Tua's younger brother Talia Tagovailoa are 5-0. So there you go. I had to say that. So
all right, Eddie, what's your commandment? Do you remember?
Yeah, I know exactly what it is. It's thou shalt not lose to the 0-4 Bears.
Got it. Bradley, go for
I
Oh, do you care to explain, Eddie?
don't think.
No, we don't have time. We don't have time. We got to keep it
Tico.
moving.
Tico is keeping it moving this week.
Keep it moving.
It's a short week and it's a short episode.
All right, sorry, Eddie.
That's self-explanatory.
I love it. I think that's a great commandment. I'm gonna go with thou shalt not take their foot off the gas pedal.
Oh, that's a good one.
If we put points on these guys, we better not stop putting points on these guys. I mean, we can start running the ball, but I don't want to see 3 runs in a row and then punt.
Yeah.
Just to get time off the clock. Nuh-uh. We better keep scoring on these guys.
I love that one.
Yeah, I want to see a big slaughtering.
I want to see a slaughtering. Yeah. I want to see some slaughter.
Talk about us slaughtering a team instead of everyone.
Exactly.
They lost.
I agree.
To the Eagles. They were expected to lose.
Thou shalt score early and often.
Nice.
Good.
Oh, that's a nice command.
That works well too. I like it.
All right, let's get us out of here, Bradley.
Fantastic. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode of Command West. That's a wrap. We hope that you had just as much fun as listening as we did bringing you the latest and greatest on the Burgundy and Gold. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like, and tune in next week for more Burgundy and Gold news.
Command West.
Command West.